What's up guys, my name is Khan and we're back today in Scrap Mechanic, and you can see these terrain pieces are actually track pieces made of course again by Lord Payne. And I decided, to go back and look at rail systems again. One of the biggest problems when you're doing rails is you always have to make them out of blocks, and it always causes the physics to eventually lag the bigger you make the rail system. But with these track pieces, we can actually make them as part of a tile and part of the terrain, and it doesn't cause any lag on the map and whatever our train is. Oh, here comes the train now. Oh, that was close. Very quiet as it goes by. You can see there though, as our train rolls by, we can, we need to catch that train. Okay, well, it'll come back. But anyways, we've got this awesome map, and of course you can see we've got some other custom assets as well. But I've made this tile, so we'll just spawn in a flying creation here just so you can see what this looks like. And if we go up, you can see we've got this lovely, lovely tile, and really simply, of course, made again with the Lord Payne asset pieces. And all he has in this set of asset pieces is a straight piece of track and a curved piece of track. But I was talking with him before about adding some more track pieces as well, maybe some slope pieces, some switch pieces, stuff like that. But overall, it's just a really cool set of track pieces, and it allows you to do all sorts of cool train stuff. So we'll catch this train here when it comes around, and then I'll show you what I've been working on. I've been spending a lot of time testing different designs of train wheels here and different designs of train types just to see what really would work the best. And that one that's going around seems to be pretty good, and it doesn't really cause any frame drops, which is nice. I don't know where it's at. Is it coming here? It's probably going to come around here soon. But overall, I'm really excited about it because if you make proper tile pieces, we can actually start to make an entire train network, and we could have hills, and we could have trains going up and down the hills and stuff like that. And here comes the train. We'll just catch it over here. Okay, or not. Can we? Okay, no, train's faster. Okay, well, we'll just have to catch it when it comes around here. Put the lift in front of the track, that usually works. If you make different tiles, as long as you have the track pieces line up at the end of the tile, we should be able to make an entire map with train tiles and doing stuff like switch crossings here. So this, of course, here made with just the 10x1 polygon slope pieces from the polygon mod pack. And you can see, I think the train hit the thing. Game kind of started lagging a little bit. And then we've got, of course, these 10x1s to try and, help force the wheels through. And we could drive a car across this no problem, and your car is not going to get stuck on the track. So we can make all sorts of switches. We could add sensors to that and do all sorts of things. But let's just get this train off the track. Oh, wow. It actually, look at that. It actually went into the lift. That's quite amazing. It hooked itself on the lift. But anyways, this is a really simple train engine. We'll look at that a little bit later with, of course, these simple train car templates. I'm really excited to actually try and make a whole series of train cars. Now, this is all at a 1 scale. Of course, if we wanted to make the train tracks wider, we could scale them up using the terrain editor, but you just have to remember to scale all your terrain pieces the same way. The 1 scale, I believe, gives you a separation of 7 blocks between the wheels. I think it's like the track, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the next track. So it's pretty decent. My train scale when I was making them before was about 9 between the wheels, so I didn't really have too much of a problem. And I'll show you another train that I made. Lots of stuff to look at, guys. I've been spending like the last couple days just building train stuff because I've been really, really excited about train stuff. So I decided right off the bat we were going to test the vanilla train wheel aspect. And so, of course, this is, this is small wheels with big wheels in the middle. And you'd think this would work, it works pretty decently on the straight sections. When you get into the turns, it just kind of lips off the turn. But even if we keep it down in the turn, let's see if we can do this straight, it might not even do it. The rubber wheels kind of get jammed. So you can see, there we go. You can see they get jammed and then they just want to lift up. So basically, this idea is absolute garbage. And then after that, I said, okay, well, let's look at the other style of vanilla wheels, which is, let's put pegs on the inside and let's have the wheels on top of the track. You can also do it with the pegs on the wheels and the small wheels on the inside. And, again, it works okay, but it doesn't really feel like a train wheel. And then, the other option being if we take this same set of wheels and move them inwards, which I actually didn't build, but my old trains used that kind of method, which was a small little peg is what you ride on, and then the wheel. But again, the size is kind of off. You have these tiny little train wheels, and it just doesn't really make sense. So I, of course, decided to bust out the mod pack. We've got these train wheels, which consist of 2 pieces, actually. So if we go into the mod pack, currently this map uses the mod pack and the polygons mod pack. The polygons for the super heavy blocks, and the mod pack for these wheels plus the thrusters. So these wheels, you put the one wheel down, and that's your inner wheel, and that's your outer wheel. And they work really, really well with these terrain tracks. So I decided to build one. And you might notice that it's got these black blocks on either side. And these blocks are actually the super, super heavy blocks. I found even with the metal, these small little tiny individual creations were just too small to actually stay on the track in the corners. So I decided to put the polygon extra heavy blocks. And, you know, this worked pretty well. I mean, it goes pretty quick. It's pretty decent. You can see there, it still wants to try and lift off on the corners. Now, this is the size of one truck on the train wheel. So they have, it's 2 wheels, the bearings are fixed, there's no rotation between the 2 bearings, and there's only 1 gap between the wheels, a single block gap. And this works really, really well. You can see there, we just got caught up a little bit. Not too bad, though. But it works pretty decently. But, you know, of course, if we try and go faster, this one, we'll take this back one, increase it. Still not enough. Okay, let's increase it a little bit more. So if we try and go a lot faster, you'll see what happens when we get to the corners. We're really going to have to slow down. And this is going probably as fast as that big train was before. But you can see in the corner, it really wants to just lift off the corner. And we're actually, this is actually doing really, really, there you go. You can see, See, eventually it will fall off. So let's just head back now to the start center. What I decided to do then was, of course, add thrusters to it. And that worked a whole heck of a lot better. So this is the same design. Take off the extra weights and put on downward thrust. Worked great. And this is the same design, downward thrust, just testing a gas engine. I find the thrusters work better than the engines. The thrusters allow the wheels to free spin, which kind of keeps you in the track. When you have an engine, the engine kind of wants it's providing power to the wheel rather than just providing power to the creation. So when the wheel's rotating, you can see it wants to like lift up, and it also provides the whole gyroscopic force and all that, but it wants to lift the wheel up over the terrain. It wants to, like, almost like a rock crawler, it wants to ride over top of the rock, not stay in the groove. And so I decided, well, that didn't work. Now, a while ago, I made a really cool creation. I made kind of like a minecart that looked like this and used a lever to go up and down and power a vehicle. And it didn't ride on rails or anything. It was just rather large. And we've got it right here. So this thing, you know, it kind of worked. It was pretty terrible. And the driver would have to control the rotation of the wheels by pushing this arm up and down. And I made this a long time ago. And so I decided to look at redoing that design. Now, when I redid it, I looked at how we make piston engines and sort of mirrored that same principle. And so we've got another manual controlled minecart. And you have to time this, hold 1 and 2. 1 fires the one side and 2 fires the other. And this doesn't use any thrusters to pin it down. You'll see there are 2 thrusters there, but all they're doing is when you fire one with the 1 thruster up, it fires another thruster in the opposite direction. So moving the lever doesn't actually cause your creation to flip over. If we didn't have these thrusters down here, then every time we fired this thruster up, it would just flip the whole creation over. So that sort of allows it. But this is very, very difficult to use. You got to get your timing really right, and you can't go very fast with the timing. Come on. Come on. Go, go, go. So it is only powering that back axle. I originally wanted to power both axles, and I'm going to show you how I wanted to do that. I want to do it with some crazy gearing systems that looks like this. But of course, the problem with doing it with crazy gearing systems is I kind of ran out of room. So this center gear actually spins these 2 side gears, which then spin both axles. So if I hold forward, it'll go forward, and if we hold reverse, it'll go reverse. And it works perfectly, no problem. The only problem is I needed to then transfer the piston up and down power to that circular axle, and I was sort of running out of room to do it. Plus, this amount of physics interactions in scrap mechanic is really not ideal, but it's just, you know, a really cool design. Gives you 4-wheel drive on your trucks and does a really, really good job. So then, of course, after making the manual minecart, I decided to make an automatic version. The exact same mechanism here. This one has the extra axle in the front. This one, the axle's been taken out because you don't really need it. Again, that was intended to do 4-wheel drive, but just never happened with the amount of space. So this one has the drive axle at the back, and instead of having just 2 buttons to control the thrusters up and down, this system is connected to these 2 sensors here, which then go to 2 AND gates, which then go to the thrusters. And this one's held down with 4 thrusters in the corner, so as soon as you turn it on, it has a constant downward thrust to help keep it pinned on the track, whereas this one just, you know, uses the heavy polygon weights. But it allows you to go a lot faster. Unfortunately, this only goes forward. There is no reverse mechanism set up. But you can see there, we can just press 1, and we can actually get off and let it just ride on its own. And it'll keep doing the track, and it works really, really well around this track. I'm really happy with how these terrain track pieces work. You can see there, slowing down a little bit in the corners with just some of that friction, but it'll pick up speed once it gets back onto the straights. And just, it looks great. I love the way these little minecarts work. And in real life, of course, this would be like a hand-cranked cart, but, you know, it just looks kind of awesome with the thruster. Oh, are you serious? I never tested this with the thing. Regardless, let's just skip past that section of the track. I never actually tested this with the railroad crossing. So apparently I'd have to remake the mechanism. You can see there as that the yellow plate there is actually what's triggering the sensors, kind of like the way the piston engines are set up. But of course, with the low center section where the railroad crossing is, we'd have to actually change that. So I'll have to go back and change that at some point in time on this minecart. It should just be able to tell what rotation it's in based on the bar positions. But overall, I'm still really, really happy with this design. And we'll just keep going here. This will take a while. It's a relatively slow creation. We should be able to pick up some speed on the back straight. Maybe a little bit. Overall, guys, though, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know we've talked about doing train worlds before, and every time I try and start doing a train world, the same problem always occurs where no matter how I seem to build the track, it always becomes super, super laggy. And so I'd like to, we'll just, we'll let that keep going. It'll eventually make its way around. And the track always becomes super, super laggy. And one of the last train projects I did, I made a gear train, which is actually like this. And the gear train was like this with a 9 spacing between the wheels, again using those mod pack wheels like before. And this uses a piston engine on the side here, you can see, to actually power the wheels. So I did modify it, and all I did was narrow the wheels over, so I kind of shifted the wheels to the side with the gears. And so it does look a little bit offset. I had tested it on a track where we built it with the Polygon mod pack, and it was really, really terrible in the corners, to put it bluntly. It did not work properly in the corners. It kind of got jammed up a lot, and the corners caused a lot of lag and stuff like that. But you can see here, no lag at all. And if we turn it on, it's still very, very slow, but it actually works quite well. And it'll go around these corners flawlessly. Again, that's because these assets are actually terrain assets, and they are not, physical calculated. I mean, they're calculated, but they're not calculated in the same way block on block interaction is calculated. These are calculated as a block on terrain, and this gear train is super, super slow, but you can see just a lot smoother. I really, really like this. I would love to make a full-size map. Of course, if I'm going to make a full train map, I think I'm going to wait until there's a few more pieces, like some sloped up pieces, just so we can do some hill sections and stuff like that. But it would have to be a map mostly of custom tiles, a few of the base tiles put in, but then we could also have roadways and stuff like that with crossings and all that sort of thing. So let me know, of course, what you think in the comments down below. And of course, if you do want this, you are going to have to use Lord Payne's custom tile assets. So I will, of course, include the link to his video again on how to install those and where to get them down below in the description. It is really, really cool, and it's really not that hard to set up. I mean, it is a little bit difficult compared to just downloading a mod from the workshop, but overall, not too bad, and definitely worth it to get cool stuff like this train. And you can see this train is super slow, but it's not getting jammed up in the corners at all like it did before. It's just a very, very slow train. So as that train comes through the tunnel extremely quickly, we're just going to go back to the area where we have all the vehicles parked, and just going to look at how I think doing an actual train map would work and how we could actually accomplish it. Oh, you got stuck over there. Perfect. Let's just go pick you up. Gonna have to modify this for sure and change that to make it compatible. I love this railroad crossing though. Like, this is so cool. The other problem with the railroad maps that I tried is you couldn't make crossings like this. Like, this is super smooth and it's perfectly done. The train can come through here at high speeds. You can see, and we've got nice flush area for a vehicle to drive over. Really it's just the potential for a terrain map is awesome. And of course, you could have as many rail pieces as you want, and we wouldn't have any issues with lag or anything like that. The only lag that you can cause is by the train itself. So I was looking at how to do some trains. I, of course, made a really simple railcar template, just 2 trucks on a train. Now, this one uses double bearings and electric engines, and I didn't really like this idea for a few reasons. One, you only have one power setting. You have to adjust the engines if you want to change your speed. And 2, the double bearing causes a little bit more lag than just using a thruster setup. So I think for the purposes of doing a train map, we'll go back to this type of thruster setup. And so you see we can drop this on the track. And this train has 6 switches. Really, it's just 1 for reverse, which is those backwards thrusters. And then it's just sets of 4 thrusters. And so we can go 5, and it'll go extremely quick, which we shouldn't be using that many thrusters when we're empty weight. But that's the idea. We could have multiple sets of thrusters, and depending on how many train cars you're pulling, you can adjust the amount of thrusters. You'll notice that these cars don't have downward thrusters on them, and that's because with all this metal, they're actually heavy enough, plus with the fact that the trucks aren't individual. It's not just, you're not just trying to keep this on the track, we're trying to keep this whole thing on the track. So it seems to help a lot preventing the bouncing. Each train is set up with these simple hitch mechanisms, so you just delete that piece of pipe and re-put it back on. I didn't use controllers because sometimes the bearings are too weak and you can pull through, so you just use a pipe piece. piece. It's a lot easier. And then, of course, a hidden switch underneath the front of each car to rotate it. So one's 90 degree, one's horizontal, and then so on and so forth. And we got the steam train coming in there pretty quickly. We're gonna have to get that one. We'll delete that off the track. And so I don't think I'll be doing very many steam train mechanisms. I might do a few. I mean, it's nice to have this test track set up, this test loop, so we can just see how the train goes. Of course, if there are slope pieces that are added, I'll probably modify this test loop and put in a few gentle hills, stuff like that. Move backwards here. And yeah, just kind of bounce into that one. Just bounce. You can see they float really smoothly. I really like how they feel on the track. Okay, so let's see. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Hopefully we can just back up here. Just get some... Yeah. Okay, so we've also got those nice little black painted pieces. That's just to help line up the hitches. So not exactly perfect, but that's okay. We can take our trusty hammer and just sort of move the whole train a little bit. Works out quite well. Just like that. And then we'll lock this guy in place. If we can, there we go. Then we'll go back here. This one's actually good, so we can lock it in place. Oh, no, we got to move this over. That's okay. We can just spin the truck. Just hit it a little bit. Again, the hammer really works out well. And having a train map would be cool, because we could have all sorts of automatic shunting vehicles and stuff that helps move the train cars around. Of course, it depends on how the track setup is. And of course, that would involve us actually setting up the track before we even made any of the map, because it would have to be all done in the tile editor. But there we go. You can see a little bit of lag sometimes when you connect the pieces, but overall not too bad. Still getting a solid frame rate. And then, of course, we can go, you know, 1 setting, very slow, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now with 5, we're, oh boy, no, I didn't want to get out of the train. Oh, no, the train's running away. Okay, we got to catch it at the next intersection. It'll do fine on its own. It'll run around the track. It's very quick. I find that's sort of the limit. You see going through, getting, okay, catch it, perfect. But it is very quick. I find this is a nice speed for the trains. It doesn't cause any issues. You'll see sometimes when we get to the corners, it wants to lip up just a little bit over the corner. Again, not having the wheels powered kind of helps that. It keeps it a little bit in the track. And even through tight S-bends like that, you can see this track design, it's just amazing. I would love to make a train map again, and this set of tile pieces actually allows us to do it. And it allows us to do all sorts of stuff like roads as well, and really just make really, really cool stuff. And you could have continuous loops. We could have loops that go around the whole map, different tile configurations, hills, bridges, all sorts of stuff. So I'm really, really excited about that, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think too. So let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button while you're at it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, go subscribe to Lord Payne and check out his stuff. And you know, give him a good thank you for making these cool assets, because... Oh, you can see there. Oh, no, that's... Oh, boy. Oh, train's running away. Oh, we're not going to get back on the track. No. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, derailed. So you can see just a little bit too fast with those 5 thrusters. Again, we could adjust the different levels. And, of course, these are empty templates right now. If we actually put more weight on them with the body of the vehicles, making, you know, engines and stuff like that, and boxcars and all sorts of things, I think it would be a lot cooler, but... Definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below if you want me to start up a train world again. I know we've got the AI city as well. I haven't forgotten about that. I kind of would like to take the AI city and actually revamp it a little bit and actually make one big world part of the train world and do the road pieces for the AI city with actual, you know, road pieces from the game. I don't know what you guys think about that. Should I keep them separate? Should I keep them the same? Let me know in the comments down below as well. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time.